Puss in Boots. Once upon a time, there lived a miller who had 3 sons. When the miller died, he left each son an inheritance. The eldest son was left the mill, the middle son received a donkey, and the youngest son was left with just a cat named Puss. Puss saw that his master was unhappy, so he had his master bring him a bag and a pair of boots. Puss put some lettuce in the bag and the boots on his feet and pretended to be asleep. Soon a curious rabbit came along and stuck its head inside the bag to munch on the lettuce. Puss quickly caught it. Then Puss took the rabbit to the palace and told the king it was a gift from his master, the Marquis of Carabas. The next day Puss did the same trick. He filled the bag with lettuce and pretended to be asleep. This time he caught 2 partridges. Once again, Puss took the 2 partridges to the palace and told the king it was a gift from his master, the Marquis of Carabas. One day, Puss heard the king would be passing a nearby river in his royal coach. Puss told his master to take off all his clothes and bathe in the river. Puss shouted, "Help! My master the Marquis of Carabas is drowning." The king recognized the cat and had his men help the boy out of the river and dress him in fine clothes. Puss told the king that thieves had stolen his master's clothes, when really the clever Puss had just hidden them under a rock. The king was so impressed with the Marquis of Carabas in the fine garments that he asked him to ride with him in the royal coach. Inside the coach sat the king's beautiful daughter. She fell in love with the Marquis of Carabas immediately. On their travels they bumped into some workmen in the fields. Puss told the workmen in the fields to tell the king that the land belonged to the Marquis of Carabas, or he would cut them into mincemeat. When the king asked who owned the land, they all said the Marquis of Carabas. The king was impressed. However, the land actually belonged to a rich ogre. Puss ran ahead of the king's coach to the castle where the ogre lived. Puss went to see the ogre, and the ogre bragged about how he could turn himself into any animal he wished. To prove it, he first transformed into a giant lion. Being a smart cat, Puss challenged the ogre to turn himself into a mouse. The stupid ogre fell for the trick and Puss caught the mouse and ate him. When the king's coach pulled up at the castle, Puss met them and told them that the castle belonged to his master. They feasted in the castle and the king was so impressed that he made the Marquis of Carabas a prince. The very same year the prince married the king's daughter, and they lived happily ever after.